And then at some point you got only online, which power goes out, you got nothing.
Very true.
Very true, Michael.
The point of view. And the last thing I would say for any gals that want to go and get, or they need to go and get car repairs done, get a free shirt from AutoZone or someplace that has logos in the front and back about auto parts, and wear that shirt. And those guys might think, she knows something.
Great tip.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Well, there you go. I appreciate the info about the pump and the flat fix. So I'm done with flat fix. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
You,
my pleasure.
Have a great weekend. Whatever happened, Rick, with Fix-A-Flat? I mean, I used to swear by that. I'd have that in my trunk. Now, we're talking many, many years ago.
Yeah, but the thing that they found is when you put Fix-A-Flat in a tire, you can never repair that tire with an internal patch. It will not stick. You've got to replace that tire. And now with cars with the tire pressure sensors, Fix-A-Flat destroys those sensors.
Yeah. Well, your suggestion was the tire compressor, and I lived and breathed by it, and I kept it in the garage, and of course not using it now with driving a Tesla Plaid. It was worth every penny. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to talk to Michael, who's calling us this morning. I thank you for your patience, Michael. He's calling from Palm Beach Gardens.
And Stuart has entered the studio.
Everybody calm down.
Everybody.
All the Stuart fans.
Good morning.
We need crowd control.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Michael. Good morning.
Okay. First of all, I want to say I look forward to Saturday mornings every week for your program. It is so informative and interesting. I can't wait for Saturday morning. So
Michael, thank you so much for that. Everybody here has a big smile on their face.
You people don't realize the impact you have. I know you're knowledgeable and you share so much information, but it has such a phenomenal effect on the listener. The reason I'm calling, I heard you mention something about the Volkswagens being manufactured in China. Does that mean we're going to have tariffs if we import those cars from China?
Well, that's not till 2030, and that was an estimate. So it's no danger of that for a while. But I think the point is more and more world manufacturers of automobiles are thinking about the long term, and cost of labor is very big.
I see. The other point, I had purchased I think it was a 69 Volkswagen Fastback. I was in college at the time. It was a two-door. It was a beautiful car, and it had air conditioning. However, I believe the air conditioner had a tremendous effect on the motor that the motor seized up, and I had to replace that. So I guess I'm sure now they're better, but at the time I was so disturbed about it because I love the car, but I realized I probably shouldn't have had air conditioning in it.
That's weird to hear these days.
Yeah.
You got to have air conditioning.
Well, down here, because I was living in New York at the time, and I was going to school out in Iowa. So at the time, I didn't really need so much air conditioning except for the summer, So anyway.
Great story.
Keep up the good work, folks. I look forward to next Saturday for you guys.
Michael, before you go, where are you originally from?
Mount Vernon, New York, in Westchester County.
I picked up a little accent there. It's funny. Earl will make fun of me once in a while. He'll say I have an accent. I don't hear an accent, but I heard you say "you people," so that's what gave me the first clue.
Now, actually, that area, there's Yonkers, New Rochelle, Pelham. It's south of White Plains, New York. It's quite a great area to grow up. We had a brand new high school that we fought for. Anyway, it was a great community at the time. I mean, I think times have changed, but at the time, it was quite a wonderful experience to go to school there. I ended up going to Palmer College out in Davenport, Iowa, became a chiropractor. So that's
interesting. Very interesting. Hey, Michael, before you go, are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
I I'm legally blind, so I listen to everything on the radio. So I don't know. I'm not too hopped up about the halftime routines. I'll tell you what.
I'm not into it at all.
Yeah, well, when Whitney Houston sang the Star Spangled Banner way back when, they said they sold millions of copies of her recording of the Star Spangled Banner, if you could imagine that. So anyway.
Touching.
Yes, so anyway.
It was a different moment in time.
Yeah, keep up. Wait till next Saturday.
Please stay in touch, Michael. It certainly was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. You have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. The same to you. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And that text number, jot it down. You'll need it for the Mystery Shopping Report, 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Barry, who's a regular caller from Tampa. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. Probably this one is for Rick.
Okay.
It's about drive modes and when to use them. Acknowledging that various makes and models have drive modes with names like X mode, comfort mode, and power mode, I'd like to focus on the drive modes available on a Toyota Camry hybrid. I've done some checking. People spout lots of conflicting opinions about the subject. A few have tried to be scientific about it, but most thoughts seem based on gut feel and not actual measurements. One guy gave me a chuckle when he wrote eco mode a week before the paycheck, sport mode for a couple days after, and normal for all the other days. The owner's manual describes the modes, but doesn't really provide much in the way of actual advice on when to use them. ChatGPT offered some suggestions, and Consumer Reports addressed the topic in an article published online last September 19th. I've also done some experimenting on my own with drives that I tend to repeat. We can talk more about these things if you like, but first I want to ask you, Rick, what are your criteria for using each of the modes, namely sport, normal, eco, and EV?
Toyota's had these around since like the 90s and before, where you could have a little button to press and it would change like the shift points and change how the car would operate just a little bit.
And AC, right?
And and the air conditioning and eco mode and that. The only one really that to me makes much of a difference is eco mode on the air conditioning. And the first thing I do is turn it off and go to normal because summertime here, it gets hot and I like it cool and comfortable in my car. For the most part, to me, it's almost snake oil. Put it in normal mode and just relax and drive the car. And the difference between them,
I can't tell,
is so minor that the average person is never going to be able to determine the difference. You're never going to feel
normal
it.
driving. I think if you're focusing and you're trying to hear the shift points or how high it's going. But I just as a driver of Toyotas for my entire life, I can't tell the difference. And sometimes I'll look down and, why is it in sport mode? I don't know. And I'll just I think it's a cool little gizmo that has a minor effect.
And I hate to sound sanctimonious on this, but in my opinion, 99% of the drivers on the road today would serve themselves and everyone else a lot better if they put their attention on the road and on simply driving the car in a safe manner versus what you see every day on the road with the people out there that are so distracted, and it makes our roads so incredibly dangerous. It just, I mean, I hate to seem like I'm blowing this off, but folks, let's just concentrate on driving safely, and let's let everybody get home alive.
Arrive alive.
Basically, you're kind of echoing what Consumer Reports said, that they didn't really find much practical difference between eco and normal in the city or on the highway.
Yeah. It's
almost like, to me, it's almost like the close the door button on an elevator. It kind of maybe does a little something.
A placebo effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go really fast when I put it in sport mode.
Yeah.
You did mention the air conditioner, and I played around with that a little bit. I found that if you go into the head unit and adjust it there, you can actually break the relationship between the drive mode and the AC mode. So if your heart is set on having the AC on sport mode, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you're kind of echoing what the opinion that's gradually forming in my mind anyway. So that's good, and I appreciate the input.
Thanks for the call,
You're
Barry.
welcome.
We love hearing from you, Barry. Give us a call again.
Well,
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Again, jot that text number down. You can vote on the mystery shop when it comes up at just about 9:30. Here's a frightening thought. I was just reading something that Earl had found this morning, and there's a growing number of vehicles totaled by insurance companies, and I'm stuttering. Roughly 8 million vehicles go through a salvage auction annually. Yeah, digest that. It's a number that has definitely grown since 2016. Give us a call. Give us your thoughts. 877-960-9960. We're going to talk to Bob. He's been holding on. Welcome, Bob.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. You're calling from Lake Park?
That's it.
Great.
Good
You're
morning.
a little blur on my screen, so I had to ask.
You gotta get bigger glasses.
Yeah, what?
Bigger glasses.
I have cataract surgery. I got the whole kit and caboodle. I got it all. I got a dog. He leads me around. No, I'm just kidding.
You should buy a Subaru. I think
I'm too old for any help now. I'm on my own. What can we do for you, Bob?
Stu is back. How's your back?
My back is a lot better. Thank you for asking. It was I've had this thing going on for years, and it was when it goes out, it's really bad. But the good news is I didn't need surgery. I had a couple of epidurals, and I'm doing physical therapy, and so it's feeling good. I don't really have any pain. I have numbness in my leg and my toes, but I'm doing good.
Well, that's great news because
Thanks.
surgery is the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, I did that a few years ago, and it helped. But then 2 years later, I'm in the same situation in the same spot.
Yeah, that's old age.
I hope I don't have
Later
to
middle age.
consider surgery because my situation has really escalated. And I'm 83 years old. My spine's old. I've had problems for quite a while. But when you start having these nerves that, your spine has a certain width, with everything to flow through it. And when it no longer does its job, and the nerves are pressing against nerves, and it's kind of called it is stenosis, and the spaces inside your spine become too narrow, and the pain is debilitating. But I'm going in for the big one on the 24th of February, and I'm going to have some serious injections done from C2, I think, all the way down to 7. So I'm hoping for some relief.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Anybody else here want to report on their medical problems?
Earl's L4 and L5, and I think Iggy's got the T1 to T6.
My back itches.
I'll give you a back scratch if you want.
I love that.
All right, I got 3 questions about Toyota. They just put a new person in charge of the company, number 1. Number 2, I read that they're now going to have 3 price increases this year versus the standard operating procedure of usually 2 that manufacturers do. They're going to have 3. And they're telling their dealers that they're going to have production problems with their most popular selling model, which is the RAV. And they're asking the dealership to use the tactic of bait and switch. So they want to bring people in with the notion that they're going to be able to get a RAV4, and then they want to move them into another model in the family of Toyotas. And I was wondering if you had gotten this notice from Toyota?
No, but I can tell you, I think maybe the way we see it at our position down the stream is, we are having a shortage of RAV4s. And so it might just be the effect of them producing less, but I do know that we are, the first half of this month, for example, we hardly had any. We'll get some more. But the amount that we're going to get allocated has gone down, at least in the first part of the sales plan that the Toyota plans out their forecast for each month.
Did they send you a notice about getting your customers into the showroom? And
no, they don't discuss how
another model.
No, Toyota doesn't tell us anybody how to sell the cars. They just there's no they don't they give advice and things like that, but they don't say you need to how to advertise or how to bring people in.
Well, the new boss is a numbers guy. He's the previous Akio Toyota was a car guy. That's what we refer to executives in the car business. And Akio Toyota was really fascinated with the product.
Wakudoki.
But the new man, I can't think of his name now, but
Kenta.
I refer to him as bean counters.
Kenta Khan.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible that he's putting the pressure more on making a profit than the actual car. So it is worrisome, and you're right to be concerned.
Yes, well, what I read, the way it was framed was that if you wanted to buy a Toyota, you could do it right away because of these planned 3 price increases.
When did you? Yeah.
Is it bad enough that the dealers use this tactic of bait and switch, but to have the manufacturer join in with the dealers, that would really be terrible. I hope what you suspect is not true, but I don't rule anything out.
Well, it's just something I came across online.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting because normally, like you said, the dealers try to do that all the time, but I've never heard of a manufacturer explicitly trying to pressure the dealers.
Where did you read that? I'd like to find that.
I don't, I read so much,
okay.
too, I don't.
Because I've been searching left and right. I maybe it was a social media thing or an opinion thing. Yeah, we don't get any. We never get instructions or notifications from Toyota. But if they are doing what you're saying, they could affect it by simply producing less RAV4s than the demand, and everybody's going to keep advertising what they do, and then the effect.
Well, it kind of goes unsaid, really, because we all know. Let's take the Supra. You know, they build one vehicle per dealer if you're lucky, and they have cars that grab attention. So even though they don't put it in writing that we're going to have this car in your showroom so you can switch them from that car to another car, it's implicit in what they do. And anytime you get a car that is there just for the wow factor and you only get one, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that that's what the dealer and the manufacturer wants you to do. Come in on this really groovy car and then end up buying another one.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, you've been doing that. That's been something that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just thought you might have forgotten.
Yeah. And also I'm trying to struggle how Toyota would benefit from a bait and switch, because by the time the cars are on the lot, Toyota's been paid for them. They don't care what we sell them for. So if there's
they do care. They want us to sell them as cheap as we can, so that we'll sell more cars.
Right. I'm saying, but when we don't get to negotiate that. It's based on what we're selling. It's an automatic program. So
they want our turn rate to be extremely high. Yeah. So and the more people that come in the showroom, the higher the turn rate.
Oh yes, I understand. Well, I don't know. If you're good, if you're a good dealer, the higher the turn rate.
Well, they didn't specify which type of vehicle they would. If someone wanted to come in for that type of vehicle and you were inclined to use that tactic, what would you put them in versus the RAV? What's the
the thing is, I mean, the whole idea, and I don't want to like a debate. It kind of doesn't make sense to me, because RAV4, even if when they do the price increases, it's not going to be like they're going to add $10,000 to the price. So people come into cars in a general price range where they can afford. To switch somebody to another vehicle with a higher margin, you'd be taking the only ones that have these big margins are the really expensive ones, way out of the RAV4 price point. You can't switch a RAV4 customer to a Sequoia generally, because
you must have something there you could switch.
There's everything is. I mean, I hate to say it, like the margins that we make have come way down since the post-pandemic, and they're the only ones that have the large margins are the very expensive trucks and SUVs. And I guess they could say, hey, try and switch them into a Sequoia or a Tundra, but that would be a doomed to failure. So I'm not sure. I really wish you could find the source, because I would like to see what's being read and talked about out there.
Yeah, no, I come across a lot of stuff, so I don't.
Yeah,
I don't write
I mean,
down.
you could draw someone in on a RAV4, then switch them to a Venza or a Corolla.
Well, yeah.
But you're going to make less money.
The fact is, in everyday life in a car dealership, the people that come into the dealership rarely buy the car that they thought they wanted. They end up with something different, and that's just when you consider the large number of models and combinations of options. There's probably at any given time a snapshot of 1,000 or more combinations of colors, options, and models. And to have one specific one that this is what you have to have, it's highly unlikely that you wouldn't accept or even prefer something different. But the bait and switch is alive and well. It's never going to go away. And the dealers all do it. And we do it, really. I mean, at our dealership, if we don't have a vehicle, we want to sell you a car. And if you come in for a specific one, we're going to show you the features and benefits of a different vehicle that we hope that you would buy. So bait and switch is a dirty word, and it can be dirty, but it can also be okay.
I get it. I just thought it was interesting that they got this new person in charge. And now
he's a numbers guy. He's not like Akio Toyota. He's not a product guy. He is a numbers guy.
Was he the CFO before? He was a finance something?
Yeah,
CFO,
finance, yeah.
Right. So what usually when they do, what is the timing of the price increases, Stu? Do they do this usually at a certain time of year? Is it in July or something?
We tend to see them like in mid-year and then later in the year, and it'll be we'll just get a price announcement and they'll give us a percentage that they're going to go put up on. So yeah, and it usually is. I mean, I don't know if it's like a scheduled thing, but I would say usually we see 2 a year or 1 a year. But if they're doing 3, that sounds more like more. But they're going to have to, because a lot of the stuff from the effects of the tariffs have been kind of put off, and we might start feeling more of that now. And that's the shape they would take, would be in these price increases.
Well, there's 12 months to a year, so if they're going to do 3, you divide 3 into 12, and I would suspect that you probably will get one every 4 months.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So, I'm just surprised they didn't give you a heads up. That was my only question.
No,
I'm glad that your back is doing better, and I'm glad that you're back.
Awesome.
And I'm glad that I didn't come in and give you my gold for that Supra, because gold is going through the roof.
Oh my! On that deal. You know what? Darn, I wish you had done that.
Yeah, I know you.
I bought my first motorcycle with gold.
You did?
Yeah.
The Harley?
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. It should be a good game.
Thank you. It will indeed be a good game.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hope to hear from you again. We're going to go to, I think we're going to go to Mark in Lake Worth. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Good morning, all. I hope you're staying warm.
Welcome.
Thank you. You might recall I was the caller a couple of weeks ago with a mystery clunk in my 2016 Toyota RAV4.
Oh, yes.
Well,
clunk.
I took your advice, and I took the vehicle into the shop, and they were very nice. They said, well, give us a day or so, and we'll try to find the problem. If we can, we'll fix it. And before I did that, I went online, and I happened to find a YouTube video that demonstrated the problem almost identically. And
wow.
The tech at the shop said that's very helpful. He saw it, and a couple other people did too, and they seemed to know exactly what I needed. Well, a day went by, and they weren't able to find the problem, so they called and asked if it would be too inconvenient to leave the vehicle another night. And I thought, well, I guess so, since we haven't gotten anywhere thus far. Well, day 2 came and went, and same thing. They were not able to find the problem and therefore fix it. So I'd like to report better, but I don't have much else to report. 0 for 2 as far as days in the shop. So I was just wondering if Rick has any suggestions when, incidentally, since then, it happened once for me over about a 10-day period. So the mystery clunk is still there. It doesn't seem to be happening as often, and I don't know that there's anything further I can or should do.
I'll give Rick the floor, but before he does, when something like it happens to other listeners, always ask for the factory technician, because when the mechanics, the technicians at a particular dealership are unable to diagnose a problem, there is someone that can do it, and so oftentimes that'll mean having to wait a few days for the factory technician to come in, or maybe just kick it up on the computer. There are a lot of diagnostic tools that would involve the factory's help, but I'll kick it back into Rick's corner now.
Yeah, I'm curious. What did the YouTube videos say was the issue? What did they come up with?
Let's see. He calls himself Budget Mechanic, and in his vehicle it was a loose bolt that connected the control arm. I'm sorry, I don't recall what it was connected to, but it was associated with the control arm, and it had a loose bolt, and he tightened it up and didn't have a problem further. And I thought, well, that sure sounds like what mine's doing. But like I said, it hasn't happened except once for me since then. And I checked the tech's report, and they started it up and drove it 6 different times over the 2 days and could not get it to reproduce the clunk, so they didn't do anything further. My guess is they did not put it up on any of their diagnostic machines. To their credit, there was no charge because they couldn't find the problem, so they didn't charge me for the diag and or repair.
Right. Yeah, as a mechanic, my first thing I would do is if you shared that video with me, the first thing I'd be doing is I'd get the car on a lift, and I would get into there and I would tighten up every bolt I could find. I'd get a torque wrench on everything I could find. The control arm is basically, you've got a frame that holds the engine and everything, and then this is actually like a triangular shaped arm that comes out and holds the steering knuckle that the wheel is mounted to. So you've got like the sway bar is mounted to it, the strut is mounted to it, the control arm itself. There's quite a few components mounted on there. And a loose bolt, even just a slightly loose, could cause a noise because things move as you're going over those bumps. So yeah, I would be looking for every bolt under there and putting a little extra crank, a little extra torque on every one of them to try to see if you could, maybe get some movement out of it. And that might just, eliminate the issue without ever actually finding out for sure just what it was. But yeah, I know I always like to hear the noise once and then tighten everything and then drive it and not hear it. And that way I know I've done something. But in cases where I cannot confirm that I have solved something, no, I'm not going to charge the customer. Even though I spent a couple hours on this vehicle, I'm not going to charge because I can't say, yes, I fixed the car.
I should have, but I didn't specifically ask if they made any adjustments.
Well, if they charge you, they did.
Okay, well, that's a good point. There was no charge, and the report just showed 6 different startups and short drives and could not reproduce the sound.
Yeah.
ChatGPT says 80% of the time is sway bar links or mounts.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I could be corrected. Perhaps that was what the video was referring to. I just know it was connected to a part that I had replaced last year. In my case, it was the control arm. But you could be right; it could have been the sway bar. Anyway, I just thought I would pass it along. We tried, but I don't think I'm any worse off. One just quick question for Rick: is there any, in your opinion, any inherent danger in continuing to drive it, assuming I don't hear a series of future clunks?
Unlikely, according to ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's totally correct. I agree there.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your input, and I learned something, though not quite what I was hoping for.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for giving us a call back and sharing this whole journey that you were, subjected to. And it really sounds like as if that you really spent some time, energy, and you got all the right information. And I don't know, I have a feeling kind of in a way you're walking away feeling somewhat satisfied.
Well, the good news is they didn't find anything drastically wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, give us a call again if you hear the clunk clunk.
Will do. Thank you.
Enjoy that Super Bowl. Okay, folks, we're going to go.
Real quick, I just wanted to follow up when we were talking about the price increases. Just two quick things. I know we got the mystery shop report coming, but
we have time.
Okay, cool. We have the first price increase was sent to us in January, so we got one down, two more to go for the year. But just to give you an example of what it does, they're all in 2026 models. The first price increase affected wholesales to the dealers in January, and some do February. But on the 2026 models, for example, Camry is going up 0.3%. That's a $100 price increase. And when you get up to the Grand Highlander hybrid, it's a $300 price increase. The Sequoia, which we were talking about, is getting an $800, a 1.2% price increase. And this is already in place now, so that you don't have to rush. These are every single one, every car that every Toyota dealer got in January. However, the ones you could have an identical car that came in, you could have a Sequoia, identical Sequoia that was wholesaled on January 1st, and one was on December 31st, and the one on January 1st would be $800 more expensive. And that's what Toyota's worried about with these changes. And this guy, Andrew Gilliland, he's not one of our YouTube guys, is he? YouTube?
We got a Tim Gilliland.
Tim, okay. Andrew Gilliland is an executive of Toyota Motors North America, and he was interviewed about the price.
I just had a flashback of the old days. I think I'll be okay, but it seems to me that when they had a price increase on a specific year, make, model car, that they would, and this could be all the way back to Pontiac, they would send us new Monroney labels
for the
older ones.
They don't do that now.
We in stock. They don't do that anymore.
No. As a matter of fact, he addressed that. He says, what's going to happen if there are, like with this craziness with the USMC, the trade agreement and tariffs, that we could be in a situation, there could be 5 different cars of the same model, all with different prices. And he was that's completely confusing to the consumers, the dealers. It's just bad. And what they were saying, but I was listening to their strategy for rolling out the launches, particularly of the RAV4, the 2026 RAV4, is that instead of flooding the market with this huge launch, with going for huge volume to build up momentum, they're going to be more measured and restrained because they don't know what the flow of the cars are going to be like through the year. So they are not going for crazy volume; they're going for more stability. Is what
so they're going into a more conservative approach,
right? Instead of the just fire
crazy,
which
it's very telling how you put things in perspective. Here you are,
the price increases.
$800 here.
Just put it in perspective. We don't sell very many Sequoias every month. We sell Corollas and Camrys and RAV4s, and the Camrys are going up $100, and the Corollas are going up $200. So it's not huge. RAV4s don't have a price increase. That's because they're not out yet. They're 2025s.
Are they still the most popular, like Camry was for 15 years, and RAV4 took over the
RAV4
number one?
Well, that just kind of follow along with everybody nobody drives cars anymore. Everybody wants an SUV or a crossover or something like that.
There was an interesting article in the Consumer Report, and I'll just touch on it for a second. But they were talking about being able to see everything that you see in an SUV, when good as it once was.
When I switched, like when I got out of a Sequoia, I feel like I'm riding on a skateboard I'm down on the road, which isn't lifted or anything, but it's just
To what I'm driving.
It feels normal. Short car doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody
hit a bump in the Tundra.
Or a Tesla.
Okay, we are looking at 8:37, and plan they're talking about. We'll pay attention to that, but for now, that number is 772-497-6530. That number meaning where you can vote for the Mystery Shopping Report this week. The Mystery Shop is from Wallace Volvo in Stuart. That number again is 772-497-6530. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Okay, well, for all you new listeners, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the show, but the Mystery Shop is the high point of the show. And I always advocate that businesses should mystery shop themselves. For example, I mystery shopped our dealership in the service department the other day, and I didn't tell anybody about that. And we found some things that we were doing wrong that we should change. But if you're a serious manager or owner of a business, if you really want to get better, there is nothing better than the mystery shop. What we do on the air every week is we shop somebody else. But let me tell you, I know some dealers are listening, owners and general managers. If you really want to get better at what you do, hire a mystery shopper and send them in to your own dealership, and just don't tell them, your people, what you're doing. It's a good way to improve. Okay, back to Mystery Shop of Wallace Volvo in Stuart, Florida. No relation to me. It's in southeast Florida, a little bit north of Palm Beach County. I'll be speaking in the first person as if I were the undercover shopper. I arrived mid-afternoon and was walking around the lot trying to find the Volvo XC90, also known as the 2025 and a half vehicle, when a salesman named Jason came up behind me and startled me. He apologized, and we both laughed, and then he asked if there was anything he could help me find today. I said I saw this model online and was trying to find it on the lot. I also said, I see it's $14,000 off. That's a lot of off, right? $14,000 discount.
Normally I say, do not believe that.
Yeah. Well, it's 2025 and a half, and of course, this is 2026, but it's still a lot of bread. I said, is that right? He replied, yes, it is. The only problem is there's currently a recall on the software backup camera, so we can't sell it. I asked him if he had any idea when they might have a solution for that. He said, hopefully sometime this month. Jason quickly added that I could always leave a deposit on it, and as soon as it's fixed, come pick it up. And I'll digress just a bit here. Speaking for Florida, but I'm sure every state has its local laws. In Florida, a deposit can only be not refunded if it so states on the receipt. So always check your receipt for a deposit you put on the car, and that way you'll know legally if the dealer can keep or cannot keep your deposit. It's a little help there. I I asked if he could do pricing for the one listed online, and he said yes. He believed it was the same car. He checked, and it was. The MSRP found on the Moroni label, and it was in the right spot, by that mean on the window where it's supposed to be, was $69,155. For you new listeners, to find a Moroni label stuck to the window where federal law says it's supposed to be is a rarity. So that's a plus for Wallace, Volvo, and Stuart. Jason suggested we go inside so he could give me a better idea of my out-the-door price with their dealer fee and taxes. He also asked if I was trading in my car or if I need a new tag. I said, no, I'm keeping that one, and it's paid off, so I'll need a new plate. Jason asked if I bought my Toyota down the road, and I replied yes. He said he'd worked at that Toyota dealership, that's Treasure Coast Toyota in Stuart, for many years. Then I said, well, why did you change to Wallace? He said, Wallace has so many dealerships, and he has the ability to sell cars from any or all of them, and he really liked that. And just a personal observation I'll make there. I happened to drive that far north the other day, and I didn't realize, I guess I knew piecemeal that Wallace was buying dealerships, but it looks like Wallace owns
all of them.
Every dealership in Stuart, Florida. It's not that small a town anymore. Used to be small.
Right.
But virtually, I'd say he owns 75% of the dealerships. Now, that's not really good in my mind.
Not for
And
Stuart.
the manufacturers frown on that. They don't like to have a dealer that owns too many stores in a market because they want the cars to be discounted and sold as fast as possible. So if you're buying a car in Stuart, be careful because it's probably from Bill Wallace because he owns most of them.
Right. If you're Buick, you don't want to see your dealer having a Toyota dealership right next door.
Exactly, right. After he gathered all the information, that was Jason the salesman, he excused himself to speak with one of his sales managers. He was only gone for about 5 minutes, came back with a price sheet saying they're very upfront with their prices. The top line was MSRP $69,155. They took off $14,000, like they said, making the selling price $55,155. They added a $289 e-filing fee. That's junk. And they also added an $899 dealer fee, which is also junk. They got so many names, we just call all junk fees. We used to call them dealer fees. Now we call them junk fees. Out the door, the bottom line was $60,406. He mentioned again, he'd already told me that the deposit would be refundable because no one could buy the car because of the recall. I thanked him for his time and told him I'd be in touch. He handed me one of his business cards, then stamped the back of it with his name and phone number and told me that was the best way to reach him. A little strange that he doesn't have business cards with his name and phone number on it. Maybe he just started working there. He was at the other dealership shortly before. So that's a shopping report. We do great on the curve. We do have a mystery shopping report from ChatGPT, and I'll read that score because I don't want to influence you ahead of time. And of course, we all will be scoring it. Stu, Rick, Nancy, and I. And we grade on the curve. A's are very rare. F's are very rare. So typically between an A and F. Although last week we did do an A plus, I think.
A plus.
And I think 2 weeks ago we did an F. So that was very rare,
yes.
An A and an F.
It's interesting,
yeah.
Very interesting. Folks, if you want to vote on the mystery shopping report from Stuart, that is Wallace Volvo, text us at 772-497-6530. the voting begins.
Okay. This was kind of an unusual shot because when I first started reading, I saw the picture of the car with the $14,000 or $12,000 discount off the side, and they immediately went into discussing this car with this big discount. And so it kind of went in an unusual path. So to the extent that they offered a huge discount, which I didn't believe, and then they wrote it up that way, and now that it really doesn't mean anything because it doesn't mean anything until the rubber hits the road. And so this is supposedly going to sit there until they get the fix for the backup camera thing, which, by the way, we already got our fix, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Are they the same manufacturer or same source, part source maybe?
Very likely the same part source.
Okay.
Yeah, same company makes the cameras and sells it to multiple different manufacturers.
Yeah, Toyota has the same recall right now. Our fix is out, and but it's a serious one. It doesn't sound like you're not going to go flying off the road, but you could be backing up, and the screen freezes, and you're not seeing what's behind you at that time.
Yeah.
So, and all my kids had that. When I got the notices, I called them right away because the fix is in. I told them to go to a dealership up there, not wait to come down here. So, yeah, I got to give them a better than C because at least at this stage in the sale, they look like they're honoring the big discount. So I'm going to give them a B. The dealer fees are there. That just kind of keeps them in the regular zone, but they didn't have a whole list of all these creative ones. It was kind of the standard now: smaller filing fee, a big dealer fee, and there's your junk. So B from me.
Okay.
All righty. So on the YouTube side, we have South Florida Two-Step says C-. Discount was good, but the vehicle can't be sold, so I guess that doesn't matter. $1,000 in junk fees brought the grade down a lot. So C- from him. Joseph Kelleher says C-. Junk fees brought the grade down. Tim Gilliland, C. And sadly, no relation to anyone at Toyota, he says. Brian said, Latko, too many junk fees, D. Cram1624 says D. It can't be sold. Junk fees, $1,200. Should be able to get more money off. Scotty, Florida says C. Nice discount, but junk fees. Johnny C. Fradley says C. How many cars were sold before backup cameras? Well, that is true, Johnny, but yeah, they are still an excellent safety feature.
And
Absolutely.
the liability to the manufacturer would be huge.
Yep. Bob in Maryland says, typical South Florida with junk fees, but it's a good deal. It's a B. Over here we have Jonathan in Palm Coast says, Bill Wallace Volvo gets a well-deserved C thanks to the junk fees. It's my personal opinion that junk fees passed to customers is disreputable, and the best I can give is a C. Anne Marie says, sounds like a standard South Florida rating of a C. Junk fees, but nothing highly illegal like some dealers. Me personally, yeah, like Earl's been preaching for 20 years now, get rid of the dealer fees, put your profit in the price of the car, and advertise the price that you're going to sell the car for properly. I give them a C.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and vote, and I really like the idea that they confirmed that $1,400, without hedging, I'll say. And also the Monroney, for me, that label, that's very, very important. That's something that I look for. But as far as the junk fees, it was just a little bit ridiculous, as it always is, and it, rubs me the wrong way. But I give them a C-.
All the grades are pretty much in that area. ChatGPT, he actually gave him a numerical score, 78 out of 100. So that's
a C.
He calls that a B- or a C+.
Yeah.
And I'm a C+.
Okay.
I think it's for South Florida, it's slightly a good report.
Slightly.
The
reason it was good, maybe I was just impressed that usually when we see a big discount, you see them eliminate the discount by all the add-ins. Like, well, they took off 12, but then they put the $7,000. Well, that didn't happen here. So even I don't like fees. I don't like junk fees. But if you take $14,000 off and you add in $1,100, you got $10,900 off. That's still pretty, or $13,900.
And as long as it's a Volvo dealer, I have to mention Volvo is one of the manufacturers that is predicted not to be around much longer.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about buying a Volvo, you want to keep it for a long time because you won't be able to buy another one.
Wrap it up, keep it in your garage, and sell it like an Ed Sultan.
I mean, that's, I hate to say it, but we're going through a really, really watershed moment in auto manufacturers, and your manufacturer just might not be around long.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and remind our listeners. Iggy, what do we have, 4 minutes? Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm going to remind our listeners what I was talking about earlier on those extended warranties with Endurance and CarShield.